the project one in lesson 5. And I think we decided we're going to create a Google Sheet so that we can all edit it and change things like that. So I'll go ahead and do that.
Great. So I'm still trying to understand what the purpose of this project is. Our company is Netflix, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rosalie, I saw, I hit record. Sorry.
Is there like did he have what he's looking for?
So our company is Netflix, right? That's what we're supposed to be studying. And there's a grading rubric on here, but I still don't feel like I understand what we're trying to accomplish. I guess we're analyzing how they're.
Where did you see the grading rubric? Just so I could pull it up. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah. Sorry,
keep up.
I don't remember. I think it's in the lesson 5 material.
Oh.
Okay. I think it's under Prepare Your Project 1 Discussion Guide.
Oh, okay.
Or at least
On lesson 5, right? You're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, lesson 5. Okay, I think oh wait, I'm in the wrong one.
He had sent out an email too with some samples, like some example, and it was even about Netflix. It was from a past class that he had sent.
Oh yeah.
I think for today, what we're trying to accomplish is to get a questionnaire together. Because next we have to, based on the questionnaire that we create, we need to survey at least 5 people, I think is what it was, and then bring back all of it together and write up a summary. He has it outlined how it needs to be and what we need to look at. We have to do some analysis, but I think essentially today it's just working on the questionnaire so we can go do that and then meet back together next week.
Okay.
So I sent out a link to the document to I did it to everyone's BYU Idaho email, which I'll also put the link into our chat right now, so you guys can just go to that directly.
Okay.
I got it.
The document's blank right now, but I'm going to go ahead and add the questions that I had done. And Rosalie, if you can put yours there too, that'd be good too.
Is it working now for me?
Yep.
Okay. It is not very stable today.
So I just formatted my questions, or formatted it based off of what the teacher had done in his example.
Okay.
But we don't have to use all these questions.
Oh, wow. We have a lot. Let's see. Okay, so maybe I just need to read up a little bit more. But what's the purpose? Like, what these questions? Like, what are we trying to get answers for? Like, what are we trying to find out?
Well, when you look at his sample that he sent in the email,
Mm-hmm.
it says we're supposed to base all our answers on what we receive from the surveys. That's my understanding.
Okay. Thank you.
So I saw Rose. Sorry, my internet keeps cutting in and out, and this is driving me nuts. I'm sorry, I'm being really irritating. I'm sure coming in and out and not hearing any of the answers to the questions I'm asking. Rosalie asked a second ago, what are we trying to accomplish? What are the answer we're trying to get with this survey? You know what I mean? Like, we're gonna get all this data, but what are we trying to figure out exactly?
The only thing I found out was looking at his sample paper. That's the only way that I saw what we should be doing.
Okay.
Not really from the instructions, but if you go in and look at that sample paper that he sent, it does make it a lot more clear.
Okay.
Yeah, and one thing too, I just found what I was looking for. He has final paper instructions, and he says in the instructions it says, "Think of yourself as a strategy consultant for the company you are studying. You want to demonstrate that you deeply understand the situation, what is causing it, and what management should do to succeed." That talks about it could be 2,500 words, substantial research, analysis, and recommendations. Exhibits are very useful to help communicate key points. So maybe into graphs based on the research or something like that.
Okay.
And yeah, and then he just has a suggested outline of how the paper should flow, which follows the other example.
Oh, there it is. Okay, found the email.
Gotcha.
And
Okay.
it's he sent on Saturday, 5/19. Project one sample, yes.
Yep. That's the
Found
one.
it.
Actually, you know what? Maybe this is an assignment for a different class. Sorry, I got too many papers working on right now.
I gotcha. I'm the same way. I'm trying to keep things straight. I'm failing. But like, we got this email from from Sister Hopkins on when was that Saturday, I guess, the 19th. Am I looking at the right class? Yeah.
Yeah,
With the
that's what I
sample project and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, Saturday, 5:49 p.m. That one, and then it has
Perfect.
that. Okay, that makes more sense now that we have that.
Yeah, I remember getting this, and I didn't have time to look at it right then, and then I forgot about it.
Yeah.
So.
This one.
Okay. Cool.
The sample is a little deceiving because it's written about Netflix, and so it's tempting to just copy it. So, but that's going to make it a little more difficult. But it's all written about Netflix.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, guys, I found the actual instructions. Did you find them?
Let's see.
I just have the email. It's called the Project One Outline. So it says, as a marketer, you will always build a business case for a concept before you present the idea to your client or supervisor. Through this experience, you will execute most of the steps that a marketer would when validating a strategy. This project will be some in summary, and then there'll be a section called Product Service Customer Behavior Insights, where you will apply concepts from lesson 2 on our focus business. And I won't go ahead and read all of it, but
Okay, so there's different parts.
yeah.
And if you look at it, it fits those discussion boards questions that we've been having to do. It fits all those. So
Yeah.
we've been discussing them.
We're almost taking the old discussion board stuff and just putting it in a paper. It sounds like, at least for part of it anyway.
Yeah, for part 2.
So
The only thing I was really confused on, Colton, is on that section 3, competitive environment. It says to refer to PowerPoint in lesson 1, and I can't find that. That's the only thing I'm confused about.
Oh, you can't find the lesson 1 PowerPoint?
Yeah, I didn't see one. I saw for 3 and 4, but so I basically looked on the sample paper to try and see what that meant, the competitive environment.
Mm-hmm.
But it's basically just talking about the competitors, the invoked set.
So Rosie, I think if I understand right, we are pretending like we're the marketing team for Netflix, and then that's a good question. Are we as if the company's just starting and we're deciding what we're going to do and how to market, or are we taking what they're doing now and making recommendations and or whatever how to change it?
I think probably right now.
Okay.
Going on.
If you look at the sample paper, it looks like it's a few years old. It talks a lot about DVDs, but I would think now too.
Okay.
Where it's now 2 different companies. Netflix is just streaming, and I don't remember the name for the DVD rentals. That was my question. We just do straight streaming with Netflix now that they're 2 different companies. I don't know that there's really a problem we need to look at besides just marketing, how to market it. Well, from my understanding, if you look for the surveys, it's to develop your hypothesis to answer all these questions. Because that's what it says here. To validate what your customers want.
So does that mean we come up with a hypothesis first and develop questions around it, or do we
Well, if you look on those instructions that you were reading, number 5, customer validation, it says develop your own hypothesis for 2, 3, and 4 with the research that you've done. And the video he just put out, I think yesterday, a day or 2 ago, he said he's going to read the surveys first and then base all your answers on what the survey said when you read your paper.
Yeah. I remember
right.
that sounds right.
So it says develop your own hypothesis regarding 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then use qualitative research to get feedback on your strategy and fine tune it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I guess the questions we should be asking in preparation to create the correct questionnaire would be like, who do we think our target market is? Is that kind of what we're supposed to be doing?
Mm-hmm.
You
Yep.
know, what are their values and how can we provide what they want? And then develop a questionnaire to find out that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Kind of like that section 2, all those questions. What attributes are you looking for? What social influences? Who does it appeal to? That kind of stuff.
Cool.
Okay, so to, I guess, focus on the questionnaire then, a couple of questions that I think that I included were, first, the screening questions. Do you have internet access? And then, is your internet fast enough to stream movies? I think that's an important factor to weed people out, to see if they're, a viable streaming customer.
So
How about asking if they have cable? Because I think there's a lot of people that have like Hulu and Netflix, but they don't actually have like a basic cable subscription. So maybe could that be a question?
Yeah, we dropped cable because it was so expensive, and then we went and got all these streaming.
We did too.
So I think in the first section, there's a screening section, which they have to answer yes to continue the survey. And so I think once we establish they have internet access and things like that, then we can go on to general experience questions about their experience, which we could include, do you have cable TV subscriptions each month, or do you have Hulu or things like that?
Okay.
We could even have them describe why they either dropped it or still have it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can still get DVDs in the mail, but they've changed the company name of it. That's what
I didn't realize that.
I was just reading that. They changed the name of it, so that's why I was a little confused. It's like Quick something. I can't remember. It's with a Q.
Quick Flicks or something.
Yeah. Let me look it up.
I had forgotten that they even ever did that. 'Cause that was their platform originally. Get them in the mail. You don't have to go to Blockbuster anymore.
Yeah.
But then I think it faded so quick into streaming that it's like probably most people forgot they did that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll look that up here because I just read about it.
So our target with people we're ideally looking for to do this, our questionnaire, is people that are already using Netflix, correct? Or not necessarily?
I think it could be anything, any customer. I think we're trying to figure out what kind of customers we have, what demographic, or things like that. And so,
okay,
The questionnaire is going to help answer those questions, so we know like who we have, right?
gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
So I think a lot of the questions Rosalie submitted and the ones that I submitted are similar. About how, does she have do you have a TV, a DVD player, computer, or cable? So my question number 3 or 4 was, through what devices do you view them? So how many hours? So question 3 is, how many hours do you spend watching TV or movies, and then how do you view them? I think we can get kind of the same answer to that instead of asking specifically TV DVD,
Mm-hmm.
things like that. Her last question was like my question number 5. Do you have any subscriptions to streaming services or rental services? And then I listed a few, and there could be others. There's plenty of different ways you can do things out there. And then I started. So question 6, I asked, do you watch more TV shows or more movies? So I think a lot of the different platforms are some are more focused on movies and some are more on TV. Like Hulu, you can watch TV shows the day after they're put out on, different networks. I know, like, you can watch shows like that, whereas they're more TV focused, whereas Netflix is more movie focused, at least in some aspects. So I didn't know if we wanted to ask a question like that to see, if they're using a product to replace the old cable television type scenario, or if they're looking for it just for movies, for cheaper movie rental options. I don't know if you guys have any thoughts.
So try to kind of differentiate what they're looking for,
Yeah.
and then point in this direction or that direction with the questions.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good idea. If we're
Who was also, are you interested in new movies and new TV shows, or are you just looking for old entertainment? Because a lot of platforms offer newer content, whereas some are just older content.
Yeah, and I think that would be good to because Netflix is starting to do both. They have, it seems like half the stuff they have on there is Netflix original, whatever, these days. So it's like you can go back and watch all 9 seasons of The Office, and also you can watch whatever Netflix original movie is coming out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how.
So those were kind of general questions. Do you guys have anything you want to add to that? And I think Rosalie, you made a good point that the survey isn't just for Netflix customers. It can be we're just doing a survey, a market survey to everyone to see what their interests are. At least I think, kind of summing up, that's kind of what you wrote in the group chat. So I just wanted to mention that.
Okay. I think maybe under I think question 5, do you have any subscriptions, streaming services, etc.? I think if they list off which ones they use, maybe ask why do you use HBO and Stars instead of whatever else. If it's narrow it down, if it's because the price is cheaper, if Amazon and using Amazon and Netflix is cheaper than having HBO, then that's why. Or if for me, none of the stuff that I've seen that's available on HBO really interests me, so that's why I wouldn't pay that subscription fee. Or does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's good because we need to, part of the thing that we have to write about is the social influences and lifestyle and identity, self-identity. So I think that would be good to add those.
Yeah. And Rosalie, have you watched any Netflix original productions? That's a good thing because really validate what they have out there. For me, all this, like, I feel like all the Netflix original stuff is all just out of my comfort range of what I even want to watch. It's all not something I want my kids to walk in and see. Not something I want to watch. So that kind of turns me off to until I figured out I can filter it. But
yeah, I'm kind of the same way. There's only a couple Netflix originals that I've ever watched. But Okay, so I added that question after we ask about any subscriptions, what features or other streaming services are, how did I phrase it? What features do other streaming services offer that you are interested?
Mhm.
How would we work in a question about pricing? If that's, do we want to ask specifically how much do you pay, or why do you pay that much, or like something like that, or do you want to let them? You know what I mean? Is that part of features, the price, or is that something different completely?
Question number 8 was, what is your monthly budget for movie services?
Okay.
We can change it differently if we want to ask it differently, I guess.
No, I think it's good that way because instead, like people are always, if you ask people like, what would you pay? They're always going to go really low. So more like, I think the way it is, it's fine. Just me.
Yeah, I think it's too, because it's an existing thing. You can't really ask how much would you expect to pay or something like that, because I expect to pay $9.99 or whatever it is that I pay now.
Mm-hmm.
You guys want? Are there any other questions we should add that you guys can think of? We talked about content, price, other services.
I have a question about the screening question on the top, number 2. Like I personally don't know the answer to that. Like I'm sure, you know, obviously because I have Netflix and I stream movies, it's fast enough. But if someone couldn't answer that because they don't know, then are we gonna not have people be able to answer the rest?
That's a good question. I added that because where I grew up at, when we first got Netflix and it had the streaming service, our internet was slow and it would kind of stream it, but then it'd stop and it'd buffer. So to watch like an hour movie, it'd take an hour and a half because it was like 20 minutes of buffering. So that's why I added that. But I think nowadays where internet is fast enough to stream almost anything, I don't know if we should include that. So that's definitely one I'd be glad to take off. I just put it there.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe replace it with, do you stream whatever or whatever, because instead of can you, but do you? I think
or are you interested in streaming?
Something like that, because like my grandpa has Wi-Fi internet. The only thing he uses it for is genealogy. And I come over and use his internet for my homework and I YouTube and whatever. And it's fast enough, but he wouldn't have any idea how to do that or have any interest in doing that.
So I think say, do you have internet access? And then say yes, and then are you interested? Because if they're not, then there's no point in answering.
And continuing, yeah.
Okay, I changed it to, do you have interest in? That sounds good to me.
Yeah, movies or TV shows or TV shows or something like that, right? Because it's not just movies.
Yeah. We want to ask a question like maybe, who do you watch shows with? Do you watch them by yourself or do you watch them as a family? Do you think that'd be important?
Yeah. Wasn't that in there? Let me see.
I think that dictates what you watch for sure. I think.
Yeah, that'd be kind of the demographics.
Yeah, they have this one question: who in your family watches?
In the example.
Yeah.
I think that's good, because that would really.
Because if you have kids, I'm sure you've got it streaming all the time.
Yeah. I watch a lot more Power Rangers and Bubble Guppies than I do anything else. So.
So I think for the demographics, at least from what I remember, we have to come up with 3 different type of demographic target groups, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So if we do families with children, what are some other groups we want to do? Because I think you're right about if you're with kids, you're gonna watch the animated movies, the kids movies. I think they on Netflix they have a kids setting that you can. Um, so what other demographic questions do we want to ask?
I know the teens, like the teen and 20-year-olds, watch a lot.
So, Colt, will that be included in the demographics question, or are we? I guess that's separate. Do you have kids, and do you have, or you know what I mean?
Yeah, that I guess I don't have an answer for that. I guess I'm a little confused there on how we want to do that.
I like who in your household watches. So you could say like, oh, my kids do, or my teenagers do, or say who watches at your house.
And under that question, maybe we could have a check all that apply kind of thing.
And that'd be under the demographics.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It could be like my kids that are under 5 years old, and then my teenagers and my blah blah blah. I don't know, a couple of different options. And the parents too. It could be people in my situation with young kids in our 20s, or like my parents are, they watch different stuff than we do even. Maybe young parents and older. I don't know.
You can say a Jacob middle age.
I wasn't gonna go there, but okay.
I don't know if this would be different. Do we want to ask if they watch things together or separately, alone? We're asking who's watching, but we're not asking how they're watching it. Should discuss their experiences? How do you, with whom do you watch stuff, or do we not want to go there? I mean, I don't know if that's too important.
There's the one part, the importance of social influences on your decision to buy or not buy. Is that considered a social force? We're supposed to touch on that in problem 2, the importance of social influences.
Yeah, maybe, because I mean, I watch things with my wife that I wouldn't watch by myself, for sure. Like Hallmark movies, kind of thing. So maybe that be something important to include. Ask if that's a. Then again, she would probably watch it by herself too, though. So maybe it would be included either way.
Do you think how they watch is important? Whether you like stream it on the TV
or tablet or whatever.
tablet or phone, you think that's important?
So question number 4 was, through what devices do you view them?
Oh, okay. Sorry, I can't see the questions.
Oh, that's okay. But I think let's add with whom. I don't know if that's how we want to phrase it. With whom do you usually view these shows?
I like that, Rosalie, where you said which of your top, you could do like your top 2 or which ones you won't miss. You make sure you watch. Because we do have to hit on the strengths and weaknesses.
Of Netflix?
Mm-hmm.
So we haven't talked about specific questions about Netflix. I mean, have you ever used Netflix before to stream movies? And then a follow-up question, are you a current customer? And then what was your experience? Was it user-friendly? Did it have content that interested you? Were you satisfied? Were you dissatisfied in any way? We have those. Do we want to add to that or change those?
Those sound good.
Yeah, I like those.
What about something like which way do you prefer to use it? Since you are a user or normal customer or whatever, do you usually use it on your TV or usually on your phone or is that important? I mean, because that would determine how they develop and update their app or whatever. If majority of people are using it on their phone or their tablet, then that would point towards, hey, you need to make sure this is keep up on updates and stuff because a lot of people use this. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe just how do you usually view, or maybe even under, are you a current customer?
Add what's your preferred viewing method?
Sure, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that would be good because under the competitive environment, we have to talk a lot about that. Strengths, weaknesses, satisfied, unsatisfied, which competitor do you like over the other?
Marina, are you just reading this off the outline?
The outline, and then I made notes when I looked at the example.
Oh, okay.
They did a whole complete chart talking about the competitive market.
Gotcha.
I guess the convenience of using it, does that hit all the parameters?
Yeah, I would think so.
That's a good question, Rosalie. Where are you when you watch? Home, car, airplane, work, etc. I think that can go along with what's your preferred viewing method. Because obviously I'm not going to carry my smart TV around with me to the airport. But so if my preferred method is on the TV, then maybe a follow-up question underneath that is, if you use a portable device, where do you use it, or something like that.
Okay.
That sounds.
Yeah, I can add that. And maybe another thing we could ask is kind of similar is when you view it. Do you view it during your lunch break, or do you view it at home at night, or you view it during work? No, hopefully not. I mean, so, I can add those.
I've heard so many friends tell me their jobs now, they're not allowed to have their phones on the persons. They have to turn them in. It's becoming such a problem.
Wow.
I think people trick themselves into thinking they can multitask, and but my wife will, rather than listening to music or anything, she'll turn Netflix on her phone and set it up on the windowsill while she's doing dishes or something. And usually it's just something she's watched already, so she'll just listen to it, which I thought was the weirdest thing for a long time until I started doing the same thing. So I'll turn on The Office or whatever while I'm getting dressed, or I'm, but anyway.
Yeah, I think that's important because I only watch it at the gym. So I mean, I think where you watch it is important.
Mm-hmm.
Or when I need to entertain the teenagers at a doctor appointment, it's like, or bribery.
If you did when/where you usually watch Netflix.
We're gonna get rid of that if you use a portable device on, or keep it.
No, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, you could probably delete it and just kind of combine the two questions. Yeah, because again, it'd probably be obvious if they normally watch at the gym or at the airport, then it's going to be on the portable device. So.
Yeah.
Do any of you guys, I have T-Mobile for my cell phone service, and I signed up for a new plan, I think in December. And as part of the deal, they pay for Netflix for us, and so we can watch on our phones. Which is pretty cool.
So I'm in a small town, and T-Mobile is not really a thing here. They don't get any service, so almost no one uses it.
Oh, wow.
that I know of, because we're out in the sticks, and they don't really have any service out here. I've heard of that. It's cool, but it's not really a thing in my area.
Yeah, AT&T pushes DirecTV, so I think that's a new thing where they combine. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which actually is something that we could address in the paper, is where they're combining with a different company.
Yeah, because it seems to be like a new direction that a lot of, cell phone providers are doing, because they want people to stream using their devices.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know how, to word it.
So maybe we could ask under the specific Netflix questions, like, did you sign up for Netflix because of promotion with a different product or something like that? Does that sound like that's what we're trying to ask?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
I think this fits, but we're supposed to consider Maslow's hierarchy of needs. There's a section on that. What motivates and what's the needs? Do you have questions that fit all those?
Jeez. This is getting complicated.
Yeah, it's a lot.
We do ask, I don't know if this really counts. We ask, do they have content that interests you? I guess, I mean, that kind of maybe could go with needs.
Maybe we ask why it interests you along with that or something. You know, you know what I mean? If there's something that interests you and why it doesn't interest you.
So I have a question too. So once we get this questionnaire done and we go to interview people, there was something in the instructions. Where did I just have it? This says to follow the interview pattern. I probably just closed it. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, so it was under the number 5, consumer validation, the third bullet point. It says each interview should be reported in a format provided. The in-depth interview reports be placed in the appendix of your project. But I follow the link on there, and it doesn't find the page. So,
of course,
is there?
It shows in his sample, and it's very specific. It tells who they were, their age, the kids, the number, what they answered. It was very specific. You give a summary of everything that's said.
Okay.
For each individual.
It's more of a summary. It's not like answer to question 3 was this, answer to question 4 was this. It's just a summary. Okay. I guess that was my biggest question. That makes sense.
So on the Maslow's hierarchy, I think you have to pick specific one like social or esteem or.
I guess we have talked about social.
Yeah.
Who do you watch it with?
One of the things that talked about was I think Megan talked about it, how you want to be in with the water cooler group talking about a certain show. Is there anything that does that you keep up with the show to be part of a group or a work? I know they do it in offices all the time where they all watch a show and then they discuss it. Yeah, Rosalie. I know that that's a big part of the social, to be able to contribute to the discussion. My teenager taught me a new word. It's called fandom. When you belong to a social group and you contribute to the conversations, I was enlightened. Fandom.
So we each need to do 5 interviews, and then put the data together. I can't think of what's the word. Combine it or whatever into our report, right?
That's going to take some time.
Yeah. Is due this week or that's due next week? I can't remember. Because part of it was due this week and part of it was due next week, I think, right?
It's due next week.
Okay. I guess it was just the questionnaire, the whatever, is due this week.
But I definitely think we do a deadline where everybody has their interviews done and then we start working together.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I'm working on a group paper in another class and it's always takes longer than you think it will. That must be the new thing. All my classes, there are these like 10-page group papers. I've never had this before.
I had a class last semester that I did that. Is every week we had to do a group paper, and it took forever.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough.
Seems like over my 3 years, it seems like everything's kind of evolving into more.
Yeah. That's what happens when you get close to graduating.
Yeah.
This is the last semester, right, Maureen?
Yep. Rosalie too. Is that for you too, Rosalie?
Awesome.
Thanks, Rosalie. So we need 3 demographic groups, right? Do we want to add one to see if they're married? If they're married or single?
Oh yeah, I think so. I think singles probably watch much more.
See, and I don't know. I feel like I've watched more Netflix since I've been married.
Oh, have you? Is that budget-wise, huh?
That seems to be what my wife likes to do. Is she's like, well, let's go watch Netflix together. And I'm like, okay.
I think it's partially too when you get married, you don't want to hang out with anybody else anymore. So let's be social, just you and me.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm so tired of screen time. I don't watch hardly anything. I just know my teenagers really like it and my 20-year-olds like it.
So are there any other questions that we should add to the survey, to the questionnaire? That's like the big thing we need to get done today, right? We can go and do our questionnaires. And do we want to just meet up next week at our scheduled time, or you think that'll be enough time for the rest of the paper? Because it's next Friday or Saturday or something like that. I haven't checked the due date.
My internet's not fast enough to do this and that.
Yeah, I can't do it either.
I just it's June 2nd it's due, which would be
Saturday next week.
Next Saturday.
So I guess we can do the surveys, and we can even, with this document, we could just add our survey results underneath it to compile them. We just, label who did which ones. And we could even, if someone wanted to start working on different parts of it, we could all just start to edit it. And I know there's a way you can leave comments on here. So.
Yeah, definitely a Google Doc so we can all see and work on it.
Do you want to create a different document or just add on to this one?
We can just add on to this one. That's fine. I mean, keep it simple. You start on the next page or whatever. So as far as
we do, part of the paper is our questionnaire.
Yeah. So as far as how to survey people, I was planning on just going and stand in front of Walmart probably and just grab people as they're walking out or walking in. I don't know, what do you guys think? Or talk to your friends or over the phone, or what do you think?
So I don't. Is there restrictions on who we can? Because I was thinking about doing like, and maybe this wouldn't be biased, you know, if I did like my parents or an aunt or uncle or something like that, or friends. So I know a lot of them have Netflix, so I don't know if that creates problems in surveying people if you're
not
already
not like a random sample that way.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know in my other class, I had to come up with a business idea. I just went and I stood in the dog food aisle at Walmart and grabbed people when they were buying dog food because that was part of my thing. And that worked out pretty well. I had to interview 10 people, and I got to interview like 90 more still over the next few weeks. But
I didn't see anywhere that said a specific, just that you had to interview. So I think it depends. I think that's our decision.
Okay.
Well, guys, so I got kicked off. Are you guys like figuring out how we're?
yeah, we're talking about how to interview and who and whatever.
Okay.
I'm fine with whatever. I mean, I at the end of the day, I don't think we're going to have anything groundbreaking here. It's just a matter of getting the data on the paper. You know, I'm not too concerned about changing the world or anything. But,
So when should we have these questions, like our interviews done? I mean, next week or what's the timeline to have these questions?
well, the paper's due next Saturday, and we need to put the stuff together and compile it. Gosh dang it! So are we? Let's see. Are we turning in the 2,500 word paper all next week?
Yeah,
that's next Saturday.
That's next Saturday. Yeah, the whole thing needs to be done. So I say as soon as possible.
Yeah. So should we say we get our interviews done by maybe Friday this week? I mean, 5 people shouldn't take that long. Shouldn't be super difficult. Does that sound fair? Maybe Friday this week.
I think that's a good time frame.
So there's 5 people, so each of us should be doing one person, and then we all, because there's 6 of us, right?
Well, I think it's 5 people.
5 each.
5 each.
Oh, 5.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
So yeah.
Mine might have to be Saturday, but I'll get it done.
Okay, I think Friday or Saturday, just as long as it's done before Monday next week. That way, you know, Monday, if somebody wants to start looking at writing some stuff up, we can use the survey results.
Okay.
I just added the interview summary format of I just did because we have to do the name, demographics, like what group they fit in, streaming services, dislikes, likes, and competition. That's what they had in the example, so you can just copy and paste that when you're doing the surveys. Fill it in there.
Cool.
Hey, well, I guess we'll meet up next week, same time, same place.
Okay.
Yeah.
I suppose so.
Hey, cool. Good luck, you guys. Thanks for all you've done. I'm enjoying this group already. So
great job. Thank you, guys.
Great. Thanks. Bye. Bye.